Hi, it's Anita back with another video. Everyone's wanting me to do kitchen stuff, so I made Joey and Charlie come in on this Sunday afternoon to help me do some icing flowers. Long time ago, I used to make wedding cakes and decorate them, and I didn't really do it for profit. I think I've only ever made one cake that I got paid for, but I made like my wedding cake, and I helped with my brothers, and I did some for my cousins, things like that. I used to do a lot of birthday cakes. But this time of year, I like to make little Easter eggs and decorate them. So that's what I'm gonna do for Easter, but you have to make the flowers a few weeks ahead of time so that they set up. So I made Joey and Charlie come in the kitchen. They kind of offered like as much as little boys will offer to go help their mom in the kitchen. But I'm gonna make what's called royal icing or decorator icing. So to do that, you need a half cup of shortening. I use Crisco. You need 3 cups of confectioner's sugar, whatever brand you use. I think this is the store brand actually. And a teaspoon of vanilla. Again, I'm using a store brand vanilla. And we're gonna put all that in our mixer with the paddle and get it all mixed up. So here we go. Start out with your shortening. Like I said, this is a half cup. I'll probably make several batches of this to get done what I need to do. But here we go with a half cup of shortening. Whatever you do, do not put all of your confectioner's sugar in right now, because you will be covered with confectioner's sugar. So put in the shortening, put it on a medium speed, and beat it really well first to get it worked in. You're gonna stop. After it starts whipping up like this, you want to start adding your confectioner's sugar. One trick that I've learned is to put it on some parchment paper. Because if you try to take this cup and dump this in right from here, you're going to get it all over. So you want to turn your mixer to a lower speed, and then take your confectioner's sugar in your parchment, and then slowly add it to the bowl. You're going to take one. As soon as the first cup is incorporated, you want to add your next cup. Again, you want to go a little slower than that. I did that a little too fast. Got a little bit of a shower with the sugar. Now we'll do our last cup. Now it looks like the mixer's really fighting to get that in there. So we're going to go ahead and add our vanilla. We'll give it a little bit of moisture to help it loosen up. If you want flowers that are totally white, you should look for clear vanilla. There's a clear imitation vanilla you can use, and your flowers will stay white. We're coloring our flowers different colors, so it won't matter for us for this job we're doing today. All right, now we want to turn it up a little bit and then scrape down our sides. A lot of the shortening stuck to the bottom, and the confectioner's sugar stuck to the side, so we'll scrape it all down. And start again. This time you want to start taking a teaspoon at a time of cold water. You want it to be stiff, but you also have to be able to work with it. There we go. Now it's looking like it's going to do something. And now we have a nice stiff consistency to decorate with. So we've made 3 batches of the recipe, and I have them in separate bowls here. I put them in little glass bowls because the glass bowls are the easiest to clean up. Because you're using all vegetable shortening, this has a huge amount of fat. So when you go to clean it, you're going to need super hot soapy water, and it's just easier to get off of the glass than it is plastic. If you only have the plastic, go ahead and use it, but it's just going to be harder to clean up. Now we're going to color the icing. This is Wilton brand decorator colors. This is a pink and I have a purple. These ones you can get like at a craft store. I know Walmart has them sometimes. They don't usually have a big selection, but they do have them. I buy mine online because we don't live that close to a Walmart. If you can't get this kind of decorating icing colors, you can just use regular food coloring. And these are like from the grocery store food colors. And I'll show you how to use both. Now with the decorator food colors from Wilton's, they come and they're kind of like a paste. I take a toothpick because you don't need a whole lot, but if you take a toothpick and dip your toothpick in, you'll get some of the gel on it, and go ahead and stick it into your icing. And now comes the tough part. You have to whip it, and whip it good. Because this is a really stiff icing, it takes a lot of whipping around to get it to the color that you want. What color do we want, guys? Is that a pretty pink, or you want a darker rosy pink? What do you think, Charlie?
That color.
This color? Okay. Why don't you give me just a little bit of water? If it's like this is super, super stiff, and if it's really stiff and you can't move it very well, just add a little bit of water and it'll thin it right out. Charlie's going to get me a tiny bit of water. Never just pour the water in. Always take a spoon at a time. That way you're just getting a little bit. If you try to do this and pour this in or go over to the faucet, you're going to get a lot more water than you really wanted. Okay, once you have your color all incorporated, you want to go ahead and let that rest. So we're also going to make, for our flowers we're going to need the little yellow stem in the middle, where the pollen is. So we're going to take this smaller bowl and we're going to use just regular food coloring. This is easier to use in cake decorating because it comes out in little drops. You can just drop it in. The only thing is it takes way more of this to make a vibrant color, and it does fade. Where the Wilton cake decorating colors don't fade and you don't use nearly as much. And they are more expensive. There's the dog again. The dog is always under the table when I'm doing something. How's that, Joe? You want a braider? That looks more like the inside of a hard-boiled egg, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Looks like egg salad stuff. Let's make it a little darker, because we want a nice bright inside to ours. So now we have 6 drops in. The first time I put 3, second time I put 3. One thing, if you do a lot of this, you start learning to kind of count how many drops you used, just in case you need to make more so that you can make them all look the same. I don't know. I think this one's looking good, guys. What do you think? Looks like a baby duck yellow. All right. Now, we want to work with these pretty quick because we don't want it to get all hard. So what we've done is, Charlie, can you hand me the bags? These bags? Those sizes. These are decorator bags. They come in 3 or 4 sizes. This is a 12-inch and this is a 16-inch. These are the sizes I use most commonly. Yes, you can go in the cabinet and grab yourself a zipper bag. It'll work just as well. Only when you're squeezing the zipper bag for a long time, it's not as strong as this, and eventually you're going to poke through. Where these guys are made for this job, so they won't poke through. So Charlie's going to hand me scissors. So the bag is on a sleeve of bags. You just pull one off, then you go to the end, and you cut the little end off. I go right about there and cut off that triangle, and then you put in what's called a coupler. Couplers are available online at the craft store. Like I said, Walmart has a lot of cake decorating stuff these days. When I was a little girl, my mom actually owned a store where we sold all this stuff. So I have a lot of it. So you put the coupler down into the bag. If you weren't watching me, I would have done that right in there. And you want to make it so that the coupler and the end of the bag are almost flush. If you can get it perfect, go ahead. I never get it perfect. So then we're going to fit it with a tube. Now, decorator tubes come in all sorts of colors and sizes and shapes. I have, I'm going to have to cut this part. This is an older book from when I first started cake decorating. It tells you what to do with all your tips and tubes. I find it easier nowadays to just Google it. Google online, Wilton cake decorating tip for leaves or cake decorating tip for flowers, and it'll tell you the number to use. Every tip has a number on it. And you just look up the number you need. This tip is, I don't have my glasses on, 109. No. Yeah, 109. So we're going to fit this on the end. So the tip that we're going to use for drop flowers is number 129. Like I said, you can go online and look up all kinds of tips. Wiltons.com, WILTON.com is one of the most popular sites for cake decorating supplies. So you're going to take that little tip, and you already have your bag set up, put it on the end, then you take the ring and you just tighten it on. Kind of like putting a nut on a bolt. You tighten it nice and tight, and then you'll have something that looks like this. To fill the bag, I turn it inside out to about there, and I use a canning jar. You could even use a water glass. I have one here, I'll show you later. So if you put it on your canning jar, and you take your icing and just fill your jar, it's going right into your bag. I think even Charlie can help me with this job. Charlie, why don't you take this one? And for this job, I'm going to give him a number. I don't have my glasses on. What number is that? 4. A number 4 tip. A number 4 tip is one of the writing tips. That's one that you would use to like write happy birthday on a cake. But for this instance, we're going to use it's a little round circle, and we're going to use it for the inside where the pollen is in the flower. So I'm going to give Charlie a water glass. Get his bag ready. And why don't you go to that side of the table, Charlie, and you can put the yellow in that bag. Okay? That's easy. I gave you the small one. All right, so now I have mine. Looks kind of like almost like you could eat it like ice cream. And it is good. It's just, so the batteries went dead in the camera and we had to change them. So while Joey was doing that, I made purple. So I have purple in this bag, and I wanted to just show you that you can switch. You can take these off and on, like this is a drop tube, but I could take it off and put like a rose petal tube on there if I wanted to make a purple one with rose petals. But we're going to start with a drop tube. And this one, I forget what number this is. 107. Yeah, it's 107. I should wear my glasses for these things. Just remember to hold the coupler and the ring and tighten it really nice and thick. Push it down. I like to twist the end. Some people don't like to twist the end. I've actually seen people put a rubber band on the end so that none comes back out. The main thing is if when you're pushing here and you don't have that end tight, you're going to get icing shoot out this end because it's going to be easier to come out that end than to come out that little tube on this end. So now what you want to do is just squeeze it down till you see it start to come out. This is parchment paper. It comes in a roll like this. I cut this off because the kids needed box tops for education. And we just took a big piece of it and we cut it into strips. So you have strips like this. Now for drop flowers, you just squeeze down and pull up. That was not a good one, Joe. Don't get that one. Squeeze down. Why is it crooked? Give me a toothpick. There we go. This is the decorator nail. Some people can do it right on the paper here. I have trouble doing that. I need it closer to me, so I do it on the decorator nail. Charlie, can you hand me the yellow? Here, and again, squeeze it till it comes out the end. Put it on your scrap. And just do a little dot in the middle. And there you have a drop flower. You want to show that one on camera? All right, you guys gonna try some?
Yeah. Sure, why not?
All right. So what you want to do with this, once you've showed the camera how pretty you did it, just pull it off and just let it dry. All right, so you just need a little bit of icing on here. Push it down onto the paper and you'll get a little piece. Take your, pull it out, then take the yellow and make yourself a little inside piece. Flowers for about a half hour. They did come up with some really cute ones. There's one right here that's really good. Joey made. Then I tried some little pansies here, and Charlie did a good job with these guys. Then we worked on a few roses, which totally did not work out. But we're going to practice, and we're going to see what we can come up with. So thanks for watching. Leave some nice comments. Let me know if you try any of this, or if you're someone who makes your own flowers, and give us some hints.